Call to order for City of Cannon Falls City Council meeting for Tuesday, October 15th. If I could get a roll call, please.
Gesme.
Here.
Grote. Jepson.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Cronenberg is absent. Lundell.
Here.
And Montgomery.
Here, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If I could get a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Motion from Jepson,
Second.
second from Johnson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That gets us to our public input. Public input is intended to afford the public an opportunity to address concerns to the City Council. The public input will be no longer than 30 minutes in total length, and each speaker will have no more than 3 minutes to speak. Speakers may address topics relevant to the governance of the city. Speakers must sign up in advance and must provide their name, address, and the topic they intend to address. Comments must be on topic, respectful, pertinent to city business, and adhere to the applicable data privacy rules. Any speaker that violates these rules will be asked to sit down, and if the speaker refuses to comply, they may be removed from the meeting. Speakers shall not address topics that are on the subject of a public hearing. All such comments shall be made at the public hearing. The City Council will not generally act on issues raised by the public input, but may choose to schedule consideration of the item on a future agenda. First off tonight, we got Brian Douglas for the racetrack.
All right. Getting old.
Hey, Brian.
How you doing? All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Basically, what I'm going to hear is talk about the Fair Board with its disregard for proper applications for permits, municipal or citizen concerns regarding noise, the environment, and property values has set a precedent that should be dealt with appropriately and without compromise. I'd like to play a video of just what's happened in our backyard, just one of the evenings that it was here. And I hope that it comes through clear. There we go. This is what we hear off our deck in our backyard every time there is a race. So this means this is just one. This race here, I'll stop so you don't have to listen to it. It's 4 minutes long. And then they stop, and then we see it another 4 minutes, and then there's other nights that they have it. So this is the thing that we hear every time, and it's unnecessary. Have you heard enough? Okay. We are not just talking about noise pollution. You can see there's glare of lights that come into our backyard. That comes under the term of light trespass, which is another legal nuisance that affects the enjoyment of my home and property. We are not just talking about noise pollution, where the situation is beyond that. Light pollution, government enforcement measurements that include notification and fines, that hasn't happened either. I have with me a couple pages from the real estate disclosure form that I brought up at the city planning meeting dealing with the racetrack. On page 4, I'm legally required to disclose all material facts of which I am aware that could adversely and significantly affect a buyer's use and enjoyment of the property. And on page 8, I have to disclose the specifics about what noise issues are affecting my property and disclose the number of times I've called the police due to that excessive noise. Again, this pertains to all new homes being sold and all current homes that go up for sale that are within the city limits, because we have a racetrack in the city limits. The Fair Board took away our right to an environment assessment by building the track illegally and hoping to beg forgiveness so they can keep it running. But they have yet to take away the right for civil action by way of Statute 116B, better known as the Minnesota Environmental Rights Act. Has the City Council done anything with the MERA? Just checking out. I repeat my earlier statement, a compromise is not on the table. The track was constructed illegally and should be dealt with in that manner. We urge the City Council of Cannon Falls to not back down, to enforce the law and stand up for the citizens who feel this racetrack is an unnecessary blight on our community. And if we need to go to district court, so be it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, Jerry Shannick.
Thank you. I'm just here to
see if anybody can give me an answer on the legality of the racetrack. According to the paper that I read the article in there, it's illegal. Now, is that racetrack legal or is it illegal right now as we go? Can anybody tell me that?
It's a great question, Jerry, but I'm just going to remind you, usually public input is just one-sided. It's not a conversation. It's
Oh.
not Q&A. This is just a
Okay.
statement time to talk about an issue, and we will look into it. So I'm not going to answer the question, but happy to
Nope.
get you back to your 3 minutes.
Very good, thank you. And that's all I was here to find out if that was gonna be brought up tonight or not. But there is a problem with, the last I heard, the last races were gonna be on the 21st of September. And I heard them going again on the 28th, the following Saturday, so I don't really believe too much that they tell me about what's gonna happen. But that's all I wanted to find out is the legality of it, and I guess I'll read that in the paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. All right, that gets us to consent agenda. Consent agenda items may be adopted under one motion as presented or may be removed for discussion and resolution as council business. We'll go through them. Item A, just and correct claims, accounting period that ended October 10th. Item B, meeting minutes for October 1st, 2024 council meeting. Item C, approved disposal of unclaimed abandoned bicycles. Item D, approve Habitat for Humanity lot combination fee waiver. Item E, Resolution 2783, accepting a monetary donation of $4,000 from Compeer Financial. Item F, approve John Birch Park project change order number 2. Item G, Resolution 2784, accepting grant funds of $50,000 from the Department of Public Safety. Item H, approve meeting date changes. Item I, second reading and adoption of ordinance 406 and summary of publication, an ordinance amending City Code Title III relating to fees, charges, and rates. And item J, approve redevelopment grant application for Quick Trip. Are there any items that the council would like to pull down for discussion? Hearing none, I would look for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion from Johnson. Second from Lundell. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Gets us to council business. Item A, professional service agreement for Phase 2 Hardwood Estates, 3rd edition. Ms. Qualley.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I wanted to just give you an update that the EDA at our October meeting, we did discuss entering into a professional service agreement with WHKS to begin the next phase of Hardwood Estates. We had kind of made a decision going when we'd first started that once we sold a certain percentage of the lots that we would look at least getting the plans ready for the next phase. And as of Friday, we'll have closed on 7 lots, and we have 3 others under contract, 2 which will be closing in either end of the month or early November. So with that, the board did agree to enter into that agreement with WHKS. So this is just an informational update, really. But I'd take any questions that you may have. But what we would anticipate doing is getting the next phase, the pre-plat kind of finalized as to what we're going to do. We are not going to be adding townhomes into the next phase. We thought that was going to kick off the development, but it's really been kind of slow. So we are going to take out the 4 twin home lots and create single-family lots instead. But we wouldn't move forward with putting out for bid next year quite yet. It's just a matter of having everything ready and in place so that when it's time to roll, we've got all that taken care of. So I'd entertain questions if anyone has any.
Is that something that they're going to be able to jump on right away? Like, will they be able to start it next year or no?
Neil, I'll defer to you as far as what the timeline was when you spoke with WHKS.
Correct. Could they bid it out? Yes, next year. It takes about 4 months, 5 months to get the plans and specs and plats ready to go. They'll do the surveying this fall and then work on it this winter. I can't remember, we bid it out in September, I believe. of last year. So yes, we'll be ready to go. And yeah, it's kind of like Laura said, we get certain number of lots sold and closed on. It's time to keep that, as the Fieldstone says, keep that train going. Don't get a gap, because once you get a gap, it's hard to get it going again. And so if you have 6 to 8 lots left, it's time to build another one, because it's a solid year before you can get into that next addition. So that way you got 6, 7, 8 lots to go, and then you got the next years after that ready.
And there's 25, right? And that's
29 in this one, there'll be 25 in the next one. Yeah. So this is just getting things ready to go. And over the winter, if we sell, 5, 6, 7 more lots, come springtime, go.
Yep.
So.
So this needs approval from the council?
It was just more informational.
Information, no
Yep,
action
because the
necessary.
EDA would be the ones entering into the agreement, so.
All right. Anything else from the council? Any questions for Laura? All right, that gets us through to reports. The EDA had a joint meeting with the council here a week ago. We've got some news that is public, but there's a company out of Colorado, Tract, that is interested in creating a data center just on the north side of town, and we've talked about annexation and what that includes and what that timeline could be. And then we also had Quick Trip, which was in tonight's agenda, the redevelopment grant application. Anything else from the EDA that would like to be brought up? And then Hardwood, obviously. All right. Library Board?
Yeah, we met last night. It was not terribly eventful. Just talked the budget, and that's about it.
All right. We'll go around the horn. Jed?
Just a couple updates. We've got the 2023-2024 street project we're working on punch lists, trying to get that wrapped up. Same with Hardwood Estates out there, and probably even Timber Ridge. Timber Ridge hasn't had a whole lot of movement in the last couple of weeks. So, and then downtown we have the ADA upgrades of the sidewalks. They just started on the east side. It's a cluster. We ask people to have patience as we work through this.
I got a question. A citizen had asked, weren't they already ADA compliant with the low zero angle? And what is going to be technically different about these new sidewalks compared to the old ones?
So I'm not
Sorry, I don't mean to put you
I'm
on
not
the spot,
super
'cause you-
educated when it comes to the ADA, but they were not compliant. They, and yeah, so all the upgrades were to bring it into compliance the best they could, so.
One of the items is the rumbles for seeing blind. That them have to be put in, and it's also the grades. What the state changed it, and so
Yeah.
anything that's been done in the past are no longer they no longer qualify for state. And anytime they have to do a reconstruction or a major like a mill and overlay, they have to fix them. That's the new rule by MnDOT. So
All right.
if they come through, you'll see that wherever, if they're gonna do a mill and overlay, they're gonna do the ramps.
So, are you done?
No, go ahead, absolutely.
Is that scheduled, the mill and overlay for this fall yet?
It is. They are still planning on, this week, they're hoping to get through the east side and get everything taken care of, and then in the next couple of weeks before it gets too cold and snow flies. I mean, we'll see, but they're still planning on full steam ahead, so.
Thank you.
I will add that one of the changes that also occurred, so there were 14 of the corners that were out of compliance, and then they added a new one at the VFW. So that's always been kind of a precarious parking situation and whatever. So they are changing the way that the parking will be, so it will reflect what's across the street, like in front of Reflections. So, and then they also added an ADA ramp there too. So you'll see that is the most significant change is along the VFW and Art Org stretch.
Thank you. Awesome. Laura, anything else? Chief?
Well, excuse me, Jed was talking, as was Laura, on the MnDOT project, talking with Maggie. Trick or Trot will be on October 31st. Looks like the project will not interfere with that if they wrap up the sidewalk corners and stuff. So just want to remind residents that want to come down, bring their kids down for Trick or Trot. For residents that are driving through, please have a little patience. We have to get a lot of people back and forth across those intersections. So that'll just be in a couple weeks.
All right, thanks, Chief. Sarah?
Nicole from the library did ask me to let you know that there is not going to be a library board meeting in November, but they will have one in December, on December 9th.
Maybe two
so-
of them in December, actually.
Two of them in
Yeah.
December? Okay. She didn't tell me that.
All right, thank you. Neil?
I know the racetrack has been forefront. Remember that we have put that on the first meeting in November, so everybody knows that the first meeting in November we'll be talking about the racetrack and some of the legalities. I know Shelley's been working on it, so we should have some information. And you changed that tonight, so for everybody that's listening or everybody out in the audience, it's November 12th, not the night of the election.
Yep.
So
Yep, so just one November meeting, the 12th.
one November meeting in November, yes, on the 12th.
Thanks, Neil. Laura?
I'm good.
Lisa?
That's it for me.
Ryan?
Nope.
Derek? Diane? Steve? I want to say thank you to all the council members. We've been here. It's been a long day. The interview process today, it was very interesting. Got a lot of positive feedback with SCSC and talking about the meet and greet that happened last night. I mean, this is a process that we hopefully don't go through more than once every, 5 to 7 years, but I think the council did a great job. So thank you so much for your time today. With that said, we can adjourn.
So moved.
Motion from Lindell,
Second.
second from Jepson. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you, everybody.